Hey, what's going on, guys? Bob Mentality here, and today we're going to do some technical analysis on the ES. We're going to go over the VIX, we're going to go over a couple beta names, and just talk about some of my general thoughts on the market we are in today and heading into this next week. So first, we'll zoom out here on the ES as always. Guys, let's go even further here. Let's go on the monthly. All right. Back here, we have the coronavirus market crash back in March 2020. That's been the single biggest monthly pullback we've seen in multiple years. As you can see, we are currently having the next biggest monthly pullback in 2 years. Okay. We've had, two red months here, a red month here, a red month here. Now we're seeing a significant pullback. Something that's notable about this is it is a significant pullback so far from the all-time highs. However, if you look at the scope of the range we've seen from the 2020 lows all the way up until today, really this isn't that big of a deal. I mean, the 50% retracement is going to be back around 3,500, 3,700, right? Back in this area. So, and even if we had a 50% retracement, that would still be a quote-unquote healthy pullback if you're looking at the monthly trend. Something important to note about the VIX, I'll go to the weekly here, is we're seeing, you see this curl? We used to have, the VIX used to consolidate around $15, $16 on the lows with spikes up into 28. Well, now, over the past couple weeks, we've seen consistent higher lows, and the consolidation range has moved from 16 to, let's say, like 28 bucks, $30. So we're seeing a constantly higher VIX. Which we actually haven't seen this in a long time. As you can see, the prior average on the VIX was around $12 for decades, right? With some spikes upward over here, we had a higher elevated VIX around 17. But here, over the past couple years, really the VIX has been hanging around $12, $13, where now we're seeing multiple consecutive weeks higher, multiple consecutive months higher with a base higher than it's been in the past. So we're seeing an elevated volatility environment. You've probably seen this reflected in a lot of the option strikes. Everything's a little bit more expensive. The option moves are ridiculous on pretty much every beta name. It's something to keep in mind. We're in a more volatile market right now over the past couple months, right? On just this little 3 monthly pullback, right? From 4,800 down to lows around 4,100. Let's zoom in a little bit more and go to the 4 hour. You're seeing, you can see this uptrend line here on the VIX pushing up higher. What the possibility here, guys, this is what I want to get to. Because of this move on the VIX, let's just say if the ES were to go to 4,000, right? We've already established that on the monthly, it could go all the way to 3,500 and still be a pretty bullish chart, right? If we were to go to 4,000, which is nowhere near a 50% retracement off these prior lows, right? We come back to 4,000. That would just be a healthy higher low on the monthly. If we do go to 4,000 within the next, let's say, month, okay? The VIX potentially, based on where it is, if it sees a parabolic move, just like these previous parabolics we've had on the weekly time frame, this could easily go to 45-ish, but let's just say between 40 and 50 on that sort of parabolic move from this consolidation zone. You're going from 15 up to 25. It's a 10-point move. We could go 20 points, right? We can go from 32 to 50. And if that happens, that will be, and there'd be an edge in selling that call side vertical premium, which we often do in the chat room. But that's possible, okay? So just within the realm of possibility, yes, we could just soak right here and move right back to all-time highs. But if you're looking at taking a macro position, you're looking to get long here, you need to keep in mind the VIX is elevated, option premiums are expensive, and you need to be okay with the potential higher low of the ES heading down towards 4,000 or set your stops appropriately. That being said, we really haven't seen panic yet at all, okay? The VIX has been elevated nicely through here, and it's been consistently staying elevated. Let me zoom in here on the daily. Slowly moving up here. We haven't seen a crazy parabolic from like 17 VIX up to 38 yet, right? We still haven't broken the January 24th highs on the VIX, right? That was this move back here. The price traded lower than that, right? But we didn't even break it on the VIX, and right now we're just sitting here around 32. Doesn't mean we can't, but to keep in mind, this isn't panic. Panic is when you see the VIX go from like 17 to 40 in a day, okay? Not when it goes from 20 to 38 in like 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? Panic is when you see this rip from 16 all the way up to 35. That's what I'm looking for. I don't think we've seen panic yet, which just is why I say it's possible we can see that VIX 45 to 50 if we do get a crazy leg down to 4,000. And that there is going to be a lot of edge in trading that move. if we get it. I'm just throwing that out there, okay? From a technical perspective, the ES has had a nice pullback on good volume. We're constantly seeing demand on 4,200. We broke 4,200, saw demand on 4,100. So we're seeing this bouncing ball effect and supply heading down. You can draw a down, trend line here off the all-time highs, and you'll see how that. But just look at it like this, guys. We're seeing the lows soaked. Whenever there is an increased fear, and it looks like we might see panic, we're seeing the lows soaked. Beta is quickly getting bought up. This Ukraine-Russia news is significant, but so far, whether it's going to have long-term effects on the market, who knows? But in the short term, we aren't seeing panic yet. There's just been tradable opportunity in the chop. Now, as far as from zooming in here on a technical perspective on the ES, guys, we're just stuck in a channel. We've been stuck in this 4,200, let's just say 4,280 to 4,400 channel all of last week, right? We've been in it before. Until we break out of this channel, it's just a snooze fest. If we can confirm under 4,280, the next decent reference is either going to be 4,200, probably not, or 4,100, okay? If we can get over 4,400, we have room up into 4,450 and 4,500. That's all the technicals have been for the past like week, really 2 weeks, okay? That's all we're looking at. If you go take a look at, we'll look at the NQ here just to get a general sense. I'm going to zoom out here on the monthly. You can see on the NQ, this is the coronavirus low. You see how much more room there is to that point? If we were to get the pullback to 4,000 on the ES, that should equate to about 12,000. 11,500 to 12,000 on the NQ. We have a lot more room. You can see the range Beta's had extending to the upside, okay? Let's go look at some of the names. Let's just see what they've done here. Go to the hourly. We'll look at Apple, okay? Check out Apple, same consolidation zone. This consolidation zone between 162 and 165 on Apple is the same thing as 4,280 and 4,400 on the ES. Same channel, and the same downside confirmation targets if we do get it, okay? NVIDIA, a little bit lower. It's not holding as tight and as strong to the upside as Apple. It has potential to move back towards those lows. Really kind of a difficult chart to get long. If you're playing the panic, that's one thing, but getting long here, it's pretty difficult. Let's look at Amazon. Very weak, rolling over. You see, look how close these are to the February 24th lows on this prior sell-off we had just a little under 2 weeks ago. Look at that gap down flush, and look how close it is to the lows. Meanwhile, Apple, you see how high it is in comparison to the lows. That's sort of the bullish divergence to look at, right? So Amazon's pretty weak. Let's look at Tesla. All right, Tesla's actually pretty strong, all things considered. We're far off that low, okay? The bulls rushing to soak that very quickly. Let's look at AMD. AMD very close to those prior lows, so this name's really getting hit. This could be definitely interesting. If we see that flush of $100, that could be very interesting. All these people are long over that $100 break, looking into 95. There's potential there if we see more weakness. These are some of the names to look for, to look towards if you're looking for more weakness here in the future. Let's look at Microsoft. Look, Microsoft. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see the distance it is off these prior February 24th lows. Double bottom there on the January 24th lows. Strange how that happened on roughly the same day, a month apart. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at with Beta. It's really a difficult trade. If you're not playing the exhaustion move where you get these huge gap down flushes looking for the long, it's been a difficult market to trade. It's been a difficult market to trade in the short term, especially because the premiums are so high. Names like Apple, it's been really difficult just because, let me zoom in here on the hourly, right? You've got this channel, if you were to buy the breakout, you're getting stuffed, right? And if you try to short into support, you're getting killed on this 162. The only edge has been in trading the channel on the ES, on Apple. And it's only really worked for these names that are channeling really hard. Other names that have been bearishly diverging more, if you try to buy, AMD or Microsoft or NVIDIA or Amazon, if you tried to buy these on demand, you're getting smoked. If you tried to buy these, when the Apple hit 162 and the ES hit 4280 and you're looking to buy Amazon for that bounce, you're getting smoked. You see this thing just rolling under. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Unless you're trading the extreme fear, it's been a very difficult market to trade. So I recommend remaining patient. Wait for those extreme moves. Wait for some sort of resolution to this Russia-Ukraine conflict, and we can start to see some normalcy, quote unquote normalcy, return to the market. To look for that edge, guys. It's been difficult. Writing options has been extremely difficult with this kind of price action, this kind of inflated volatility. Unless you're far out of the money on these extended moves, you're getting smoked too on the options. So it's just been a rough market to trade. You need to understand that. Excuse me. Not everything is going to be easy. Not everything is going to be the same difficulty. Not that everything is going to be a trend. Okay. It's important to recognize the easier markets and the more difficult markets and kind of tune your aggression accordingly to that is very important. So we'll see what ends up happening unless we see a significant move on the ES, like I said, below 4280 or above 4400. I'm going to be watching for short-term scalp opportunities only. That's it. I'm not going to get crazy trying to predict anything. If I had to say what I would like to happen, I would like to see panic. Panic is when the opportunity is going to be the highest. Okay, I want to see that VIX shoot up towards that 45.50. I want to look to catch this sort of move on the ramp. That would be nice. That'd be a trade we wanted to put some risk on. Outside of that, I'm just staying in scout mode here, guys. But if you have any interest in joining the chat room, there's information on the Patreon in the description box below. And if you need to join a mentorship program for more one-on-one training, there's information for that on my Patreon as well. And guys, continue to stay focused in developing that bot mentality, which is your trading mentality, where you learn to eliminate your emotions so you can trade like a machine, guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.